All right, thanks for your patience, everybody. My name is Jeff Bechtold. I'm the Director of Communications here at the UW. Welcome to the 32nd Annual Windermere Cup Press Conference. Before we start, a couple of little notes. We'll have lunch afterwards here in the Windermere Cup dining room here in the Shell House, so please make your way over there as soon as we get done here. Also wanted to note that if you're looking for the live stream of the actual races on Saturday, you'll find them at gohuskies.com in the press conference, or rather the press release about this race, or on either the men's or the women's rowing schedule pages. There's links to the live stream. You'll also find those on Twitter and Facebook, everywhere else on Saturday morning. With that, as far as the format goes, we'll ask some folks here from the Seattle Yacht Club to start us out, and then we'll just go right down the table here with each one of our guests speaking about the regatta, their team, and so forth. So without further ado, I'll introduce you to our Vice Admiral, Bob Brown, and to the Admiral this year for Seattle Yacht Club, Randy Holbrook. Go ahead, Randy.
Good morning. Thank you. We're delighted to be here. On behalf of Seattle Yacht Club, we'd like to welcome the Dutch national team, Oxford Brooks, and all the rest of the competitors. We'd like to thank Windermere for their outstanding sponsorship of this event and recognize the UW for just a really great partnership since the 1950s in hosting this event on the Montlake Cut.
Thank you very much. With that, we'll start things out with Obi Jacoby, the Windermere Real Estate President, Great. And then we'll just move on down the line, Michael Yass and so forth, right on down. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. What started as a partnership 32 years ago between the Seattle Yacht Club and the UW and Windermere has really turned into an incredible event here on the shores of Lake Washington. This year, we're really excited to have two of the best collegiate teams from Great Britain and Canada up against the UW national powerhouse men. Equally excited for the Dutch women to go up against the University of Washington National Championship women. So we're really excited to be here. Saturday is going to be a great day, and thanks.
Thanks, Obi. First of all, I wanted to thank all of you for coming today, but and I'd also like to talk about our relationship with the Seattle Yacht Club. You think about over 100 years ago, the Montlake Cut was open in the shipping canal, and they started a boat parade. I think it's one of the longest going boat parades in the world. And this is a seaport town that really celebrates its maritime history. It's tied to the ocean, the water, its lakes, and the partnership between the University of Washington and the Seattle Yacht Club hasn't ever been stronger. We share the Montlake Cut. They're on one side and we're on the other, and we try to defend it. But I wanted to thank you again for providing one of the most incredible atmospheres for rowing in the world. I think you guys are all in a real treat if you haven't been here before. Similar to Henley, crowd's very close, boisterous crowd, rabid Husky fans, but you also have other fans come to cheer for our competitors. It's quite a venue, and I want to really thank you, Seattle Yacht Club. Then to get these incredible level of competitors, we have Windermere Real Estate, which 32 years ago, the idea came to bring the very best in the world, and through their partnership, we've been able to do that. National teams, Olympic champions, national champions, and this year is no different. We have some of the best, as Windermere said, maybe the World Series of Rowing. We have a lineup that we haven't had in a few years, and we're really excited to have it again. And also want to thank Mary Lynn and all the staff who's done so much to put on such a great event, and Obi and your family. What an incredible experience you're going to put on for student athletes. And that's what we're about here at the University of Washington, student athlete experience and developing young people into our community. And we like to call that the Beyond the Boat program, and you're a great, I would say, mentor, and we just really appreciate everything you do for our program and our student athletes and guiding them to that end goal. So we'd like to consider this Rowing U and Rowtown USA, and we really have that because of our community here in Seattle. It's not just a rowing program. Seattle rallies around rowing here, and they really appreciate it. Before we had professional sports, we had the Husky Crew, maybe the Husky football team, and maybe a Rainier baseball team, but Husky Crew is in the DNA of Seattle, and this is Rowtown USA. And I think the Oxford Brooks program and the UBC program are really going to enjoy Saturday. So how do we arrive at our competitors on the men's side? On the men's side, we were looking for the best competitors we could possibly get, and you can go for national teams, and And this year we thought a little bit something different. We've been admiring the Oxford Brookes program. They've been steadily climbing the ranks of rowing in Great Britain. They've been winning the Henley Temple Cup for 3 or 4 years now. And then last year they won something called the Ladies Plate, which is basically the varsity level, collegiate varsity level programs in the world. And so they've emerged as the top program in Great Britain and probably even in Europe. And we thought that would be the greatest matchup we could possibly get. And I'm sure we have a lot of admiration for them and their program and what they've come to, and we just thought that would be the best fitting program to bring here. We also thought having the national champion from Canada, our neighbors, would also round out the field, and we're the almost national champions of the U.S. We lost to Yale by .069, so we have 2 national champions and the runners up. And we thought that was an incredible field to show our fans. But as I've been telling people, I think this might be one of the greatest intercollegiate rowing races we're going to have all year. And I think it's going to be a really treat for our students and also our fans and our alumni. It's going to be the greatest setting, and I hope with the weather, it's going to be pretty outstanding. So thank you all for coming. Hope to see you all down there. It's going to be quite a show. So yeah, so I think passing it off to you.
The first time I came to the Windermere Cup, I was a spectator and helping with a broadcast, and so I was on the shore. And so for anyone who's ever been along the sides of the cut, you know just what an incredible festive atmosphere it is. Last year was my first year as a coach to follow the actual boats down the course, and Yossi, Henry, and Mike, I hope that you are as thrilled as I was to be in this incredible the experience for these athletes, it is unlike any other race I can think of. I think Henley's got its own thing. I think the Olympics are obviously amazing, but the hospitality of the community, the fans, the boats with the horns and the fight song and all of the support, when these athletes go down the course, it's going to be an experience that they've never had before. It blew my mind last year to be able to do it, and I'm really thrilled for these guys to be able to see the same thing, and hopefully their athletes have the same experience as ours get to every single year. I'm really grateful to Yossi for coming in the middle of their training. They're preparing for their summer season and the World Championships. We pulled him out of pairs racing, and just the getting ready for laying the groundwork for their season. So for them to put an 8 together and come and do this with us and to travel as far as they have, I feel really indebted and psyched. I think the experience for our student athletes to be able to race with such an incredible program. Yossi has coached many athletes to Olympic gold medals. He's one of the best coaches in the world, and I think this is just going to be an amazing race for everyone out there on the course.
So it's up to me. It's always difficult to be flattered like that, but on the other side, I have a lot of respect for the program of you call it UW, but from the Netherlands, from my perspective, we're very happy to be invited here. It's a great opportunity for my athletes to get out of winter training and get a feel of 2K racing. From here on, we will be starting to prepare for the World Cup season, but anyway, we take this very seriously. So I try to take my best athletes. We had beautiful preparation here. We thank the Yacht Club, the university, obviously Windermere for all the support and for the opportunity. And I think we're going to have a great time here. And I hope you will have as well.
Yeah, firstly, thank you for having Oxford Brookes here. I've been coaching at Oxford Brookes for my 11th year now, and certainly when we started, the program's been running for around 30 years, so quite young compared to Washington. And we've been enjoying watching Washington's success over the last 10 years with really eyes wide open and very impressed by everything that's here. And we haven't been disappointed coming out here to see quite how impressive the whole sports setup is, and the fan base and just how the community gets behind sport here has been probably the biggest eye-opener to us as a team. And to see the setup and the facilities that you have here is really, really impressive, and we've been treated brilliantly and looked after brilliantly. I'd like to say thank you to Michelle for everything she's done and helping us tie in our team and allow us to train. We've had good preparation, and we're very much looking forward to getting racing going and seeing where we stack up against the world's best.
Well, we're thrilled to be here. I think the team was so excited to be invited down. I mean, I think the concept of coming down and getting a race against UW and the best from Great Britain and ourselves was super attractive. Our alumni, everybody were really, really excited about that. I mean, I grew up rowing in the Pacific Northwest and have seen how things have progressed down here over the decades, and it's just amazing to be sitting at this table with these guys. This is my first press conference for rowing, so this is neat to see that our sport is changing and evolving, and it's really amazing that the bar that's being set at the collegiate level is certainly in Canada something that we're aspiring to. So we see this as being a fantastic step for us to be invited to this event, and we're really looking forward to getting out there and racing these guys.
That one announcement before we move on to questions. I should have mentioned we'll have the lane draw for the 2 Windermere Cup races when we're done here, so please stick around for that when we're done, all the coaches in particular. But with that, if there's any questions from anybody in the crowd, we'll be happy to take those.
I'll start. Bill Swartz with Como Radio, the Husky station. Coach Callahan and Farouk, could you talk about the Dutch student athletes on your roster? What attracted them to the University of Washington? What makes them such good rowers from the Netherlands?
Ladies first.
We love recruiting Dutch rowers because they're great athletes in general. We know that, rowing is a sport of leverage, so we definitely get a lot of height when you recruit an athlete out of the Netherlands, and they really just have a zest and a joy for rowing. I mean, I think that part is so awesome about the Dutch. At the Olympics, when the Dutch win a gold medal, the sea of people dressed in orange swimming out to the gold medal boat is one of the craziest things you'll ever see. But that's how much they love the sport and embrace it. So we've got Tommy DeRoy is on our team. She'll be racing in the 3rd Varsity 8, and we got her here 2 years ago. She's a sophomore. Her parents have flown in, and her sister, to be able to come and watch her in action, and we're really psyched to have her. And, you know, we hope to get some more Dutch athletes. We just don't want to pull them away from Yossi if they're, you know, in their Olympic prime. He's got one in particular we would really like, but...
I left her at home.
She's probably heading for Tokyo in a couple of years, so she's going to be busy.
On the men's side, I always say these guys never complain about the weather. You know, the Netherlands was windy and rainy, and but it's kind of a joke. But they're a great addition to our program in a number of different ways. I think they are a highly competitive group, but they're also slightly laid back. They bring a nice balance to our team. We have Bram Schwartz stroking the Varsity 8, and I certainly consider him an X factor. He's very competitive. He has great touch. He brings a lot of rhythm to our team. And then in the 4th seat this week, we'll have Simon Van Dorp, and he's one of the strongest, maybe under 23 rowers in the world right now in terms of strength. And he also has, he's a big, as he's always say, he's a big man that can move. He's LeBron James of rowing, maybe. You know, we're so fortunate to have these people while they're developing. I don't think the University of Washington should be their end goal. It should be a place of development, and both, you know, personally, academically, but also rowing-wise, and then hopefully they'll go on to the Olympics, World Championships. But we certainly enjoy having all of them, and they add a lot to our program, both off the water, on the water, definitely personality-wise and competitiveness. But we are really excited to have them all.
For all 3 of our international, is this on? Of our international coaches, could you speak to the galvanizing factor of sport and rowing, and what your student athletes will get out of this trip other than the competition?
I think it's been a big eye-opener for our students just to see the other side of the world, and for them to be able to be part of something that's so backed by all of the people here and all of the people that live here, and just seeing, I suppose, another level. This program of Washington probably has 10 times our budget, and it's impressive to see that this is an avenue that some of them perhaps could take, or some of them could be involved with coaching or working out here, and just seeing a different side and a different lifestyle from what we have in the UK is just, I think, a really good eye-opener for our young guys that are racing here.
Yeah, I think it is a real eye opener for them. I think it's so neat for them to see that you put your head down with your training and the competitions you're used to, but this one's really out of the box, and it really involves the community so much. So it's really neat for them to see how the sport extends well beyond what we're used to in our daily environment. So it's a great eye-opener and gives them a whole different perspective on things. So we're looking forward to that.
As a follow-up for you two gentlemen, where are you at the competition in your seasons right now? And what is your training venue like? Is it a lake, or do you row on the rivers mostly?
We row on the Fraser River. So it's just outside of the Vancouver area. We've just finished our main academic year and academic or school competitions. So our athletes have just come through the exam period, so they're maybe not quite as prepared as we would like them to be, but we're doing our best. Our next big focus is moving guys on to preparing them for national teams. So we have a speed order regatta in Eastern Canada that we're preparing for in June. So after we get back from this, it's heads down in the small boats and getting ready for that. So
for Oxford Brookes, this is our first race of the season, first 2K race of the season, and certainly being a sort of, in a way, a match fixture, if you can call it that, with 3/8. It's really exciting to have that as our first race of the season. Normally this same weekend, and in fact to the same minute, we'll be starting the British University Championships Men's 8s final at the same minute that we start here. So our second date is trying to defend our title as university champions back home, while our first date is out here racing. So it's quite exciting for us, and we have a lot happening this weekend. We train from a boathouse, two small boathouses, nowhere near this size, but still with good equipment and good athletes. When we were on a river, the Wallingford stretch, just outside of Henley-on-Thames, we have about a 10-kilometre stretch of river, but it's very narrow compared with anything here. It's about, at its widest, about as wide as the cut, but it's a good usable stretch of river, and we enjoy it.
Coach Yossi, are your athletes accustomed to this type of a venue? Or do you train on a similar layout?
We are lucky because we're a national team, so we can select sometimes where we go. So for training in summer, I prefer to have a beautiful lake like this one, especially in Italy, because I've worked there for some years, and I consider food a major fact of enjoying life. Anyway, we've met these conditions. But on your first question, all my girls, most of them are students. So everybody does this for fun. It's a job for them in a way, because our aims are high, but still we do this for fun. So that means they have to enjoy what they are doing. So this is, you might say, this might be on a bucket list for somebody to do the Windermere one time, like doing Henley one time. Second time when you go, you have to win anyway. But so coming here is something where you can say, you get out of your daily life, and it doesn't really matter that you are prepared or not prepared, because it's a race. You've got one shot at it, and it makes it, for them, it makes it very exciting. And I want them to have experience like this, just in a way as like the conditions. I've understood most probably the coxswain will not be heard by the crew, but most probably you will not tell that to me before the race. Anyway. Things like this, conditions like this, I want them to cope with it. So they have to be prepared for anything. So it doesn't matter that you fly in, because we are Europeans, we are spoiled, so we think that traveling 2 hours is a lot. For you, it's normal, and it's normal to go to the other side of the world and be ready next day. So I want them to, so on one side I want them to enjoy, on the other side I want them to, you know, I must be able to wake them up in the middle of the night, and they must be ready to race.
Obviously, you are aware of the University of Washington's reputation. Is that part of the reason so many Dutch athletes are coming here to compete at this school?
Well, I think it's one of the main reasons to go to a place. It must be the level of the program, and must be the level of the coaching. And I think for us as Dutch coaches, it's important that people end up in schools where they not just learn how to cope with life, but also learn how to row, because it's, as long as they are our most talented guys or girls, it is important that they end up in a good program. So I don't mind if somebody who's not so important to me ends up somewhere in the Corn Belt or whatever, but for me it is good to find an atmosphere where people learn to compete, learn to pull hard, and also get a good academic preparation. Because in the end, nobody will be rower for life. So it's good to find the combination. And Washington is a good idea for us.
I guess finally for Yaz and Michael. So I don't mean to hog all the questions here. What does this race do for your grand goals for the season? We know what you did against California last week, had an awesome time there, but what about Pac-12s and NCAA? How does this caliber of competition really set you up for going forward the rest of the summer?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's an opportunity to challenge our guys. Like I said, that's why we're trying to find the best. We're trying to find people that it would be easy to beat. We wanted the very best to challenge ourselves. We know the competition on the East Coast and then south of us is very, very high. And so this is an opportunity for us. I always feel like the Windermere Cup is a championship atmosphere. There's a lot of energy, and you have to be able to cope with that, get ready for that, and handle the preparations, the distractions, your parents coming into town, how to like focus in on your rowing. And so I use it as the preparation for championship season, which is 1 week away from us now. And then bringing the very best people here gets our guys knowing that the urgency is there. It's not just this distance date, and we're not in just some routine of coming and practicing. We're racing this week, and racing it's going to be difficult.
I can't imagine a better race before the Pac-12 championship than this one. You've got this huge spectacle atmosphere. I mean, in some ways, it's bigger and louder than the Pac-12s will be, but similarly, it's a one-shot deal. There's no heats and semis before you get to the final. It's you back into the blocks. It's one trip down the course. It's for all or nothing right then and there. And to be able to dial in our lineups and work on combinations here 1 week before the Pac-12 championships is a huge gift.
Anything else? Jordan, you got anything?
For the, Jordan Duncan with the Daily. For the international coaches, it's the first trip to Seattle for UBC and for Oxford Brooks, first time since '94 for the Dutch national team. Just from what you know and from what you've seen so far, what are you guys expecting to come Saturday?
Good question. A lot of noise and some really good, fast, hard racing. We're prepared as best as we can, but where we stack in with Washington, where the UK crews that we normally race stack in with the American crews that you guys normally race, that's the question that everyone wants answers to, so that's why we're here.
You know, last time the Dutch we had to lose, so. I'm making fun, but what we expect is just to have a good race, and it's not normal that we go out of, you know, before our training we come to an event like this, but if we come, you know, I want everybody to have a good time, including ourselves, but including the audience, everybody. So what we expect is a good show.
Well, we've been preparing for some things that we're not usually used to, so such as we've heard about the noise. So our coxswain lost his voice this week, so we're like, well, it doesn't matter, you're not going to be heard anyway. And some bouncy water or whatever. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the conditions throw at us and how our guys adjust, and it'll certainly bring out the best in what we've got to bring for the day, for sure.
Coach Callahan and Coach Farouk, with it being a unique regatta late in the season, do you guys look at it as another chance to experiment with the lineups and try people in different seats, or what are the lineups looking like for you guys this week, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we did pieces with the Dutch team a couple of days ago and did some switches to just see how different people are working together. So we'll have 2 boats in the race with the Dutch, and we're just going to call them Washington Purple and Gold, and let's see what happens.
On our side, I think we have an opportunity to change the lineup. We're going to insert another student, Simon, as I mentioned, from the California varsity that raced there. And that's exactly what this is, an opportunity to change something, see how it looks before we go down to California again for Pac-12. So it is that opportunity for us. So absolutely, that's exactly what it's for.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.